おかえりなさいませ。
So today on a very late episode of Baka Eagle watches Demon Slayer, and so he can catch up and make sure he watches the next episode because he was warned by a friend it'll probably be really good. Um, we start off with the nicer geisha lady who I was wondering whether or not is Daki, or like if Daki just had alternate personas in each house, but no, she's not Daki. She is reading to the kids, and then she ada-adas unironically, and I was just like, ooh. I think her name is Oran. I like Oran a lot. Or Koinatsu. I think it's like Koinatsu. Koinatsu. I like her a lot. Um, I put in there, or is this Daki? I have no idea. She gets each of the girls a hairpin, and at that point, I'm kind of like, no, she's probably not Daki or whatever, because Daki can't handle it. Maybe she's like some other demon working here, but I don't think so. At this point, I was like, no. Tanjirou's listening. He smiles as he watches the two girls kind of go like, "Thank you for the hairpins. You're the greatest. We love you," because they're all like nice and it's all wholesome. Um, what was it? Ashinoke. Ashinoke. Oh, so the dude who lives, or the owner, I think, of like the household that Zenitsu is at, Zeneko, is pissed, and as one of the ladies comes in to ask like, hey, should we go look for Zeneko? They're missing. And it's like the other time, and I think Omitsumos, I think the kid too, like one of the kids, he throws a thing at her, and he's like, I can't do anything about it. That freaking demon woman, she's there. He didn't call her a demon, but basically he can't do anything. Whatever mood and tantrum she's on, we just leave it alone. We don't talk about it. We're not having her come over here and do whatever she's about to do to us. So just shush and move on. They didn't exist. Forget they existed. And so after that, we see Tanjiro and Inosuke talking outside, which is cool because I like seeing the banter between the guys, but I like seeing it separate to some degree sometimes because it's nice to see how each of them interacts with each other. It's like Ed and Eddie, where like Ed and Double D have a different way they react and talk to each other versus like Eddie and Double D, or Eddie and Ed. Each one of them have a different way that they talk to one another, which makes them seem more human to a sense. And Tengen sneaks up on both of them, or Uzi, I can't remember how to pronounce his name right now. Sneaks up on both of them because they didn't notice, and he just basically says like, "There's no word from Zenitsu. I should have did this myself, like just in the beginning. I was so caught up in trying to find my wives that I didn't really think this one out as much as I should have." And then they're like, he's like, "You guys should go," and then they're like, "Wait, but," and he's like, "There's no shame in leaving right now. I'm not shaming you about this. This is extremely dangerous. I'm just gonna go do this myself." Which is nice. I think that was a very nice touch for his character because typically it's like with shonen and stuff. So it's like, you boys can't follow me. Maybe when you're stronger. But he's just basic business. This is really dumb, possibly. Big mistake. Shouldn't have brought you. We're good. And I like the fact that even though it was like Zenitsu, a person he was butting heads with the entire time, along with his wives, he takes it seriously, right? Like he might butt heads with a dumb kid that he thinks is dumb, but that's not, it's not his life or anything like that, like, which is obvious. He's on the good side here, but I think it's just always nice to see characters really seem like they're taking responsibility for actions, even against people they might dislike or butt heads with. Then he just disappears. They can't even find him because he's a ninja. He's like that quick. And right now, I think this episode does a really good job of teaching us that there is a different level above where they currently are, as we later get into Inosuke teaching Tanjiro that their hand, they squeeze their fist and ask their rank, will show them their current rank. Turns out Tanjiro didn't know he had one because he was like passed out or whatever, or really tired when he got his. But I thought that was like really, really funny. They're making Inosuke a bit smarter of a character, which is interesting. That he's actually paying attention and he knows these things. He's not just reckless as beforehand. I mean, he's got reckless moments still, but he's definitely grown a bit, just like Zenitsu, and I really enjoy that. We get a little bit more Tanjiro too this time. This time Tanjiro gets a little bit more in this episode. So they kind of guess and figure out that because there's no bodies and no blood, there's no way with Tengen outside watching all the houses, that the demon's going outside, because otherwise he'd just see them. So there must be a passageway somewhere, which is the reason why they didn't come out, and why this demon's able to go to different homes so easily, or the different houses so easily with all the geisha girls. So we get like a good little body moment. I forgot the slaps. Yeah, Inosuke just slapping Tanjiro over and over again. But they agree on plan, And Inosuke's like, yeah, that's exactly what I would have said, which is cool. It was a really good bro bonding time, and I like it. The characters are being worked on, and I enjoy that. Tanjiro drops his act and then goes up to, I'm just going to call her Konatsu. I'm just going to call her Konatsu, but it's the Oinon, I don't know how to pronounce it, Orion? Orion? I think it's Orion. The head geisha girl, I think, of the house he's specifically living in. So it turns out she's leaving to go get married, and oh my gosh, can I say this right now? Oh, I love her. Mildly more in a degenerate way, but you get the point. Anyways, anyways, she was like, yeah, no, I knew you were a boy the entire time. I just figured, like, you probably had reasons why you were here. It's pretty upfront, your voice, the way you look, you're obviously a boy. And he was just kind of, like, shocked. But he basically assures her that he's going to go find everybody because he doesn't think they're dead currently. And then that way she can be at ease. And she brings up the fact that she's going to go get married. So she was already worried about the fact that she's leaving to go get married, and that she'd be leaving everybody behind, which obviously with all these killings going on, and she just gave those two kids her pins or combs or whatever, I'm sure she's worried about them too. And the moment he leaves, I go, oh no, Oran, and I wrote, Daki is jealous of Koi Natsu, is cute and hot, she's gonna eat her. This alone could be a title for some freaking thing that no one has any idea of. So big worry there. She could possibly die. Daki is quite sadistic to some degree. Inosuke is impatient and dumb, I wrote, but to be fair, Tanjiro is late because now he went back to go because he was like, oh, I smell a demon. And so instead of going all the way over to Inosuke, he runs over to the way of the smell, which is Daki now. So Inosuke, being as impatient as he is, leaps into the ceiling, smashes his head into the ceiling, calls for two ninja mice who run him over his swords, and they're really buff, and they just keep saying muscle. And I just don't know what's happening anymore, but it was just really funny. Then he grabs those swords from them somehow. I don't remember how he did that because only his head was in the roof. And then when he lands on the ground, the lady who originally picked him is staring and seeing him, one shirtless, second screaming, third with a pig thing on his head, and he grabs swords out of the ceiling and goes, ah, and then runs out. And she's just, like, in shock. So Inosuke is on the way. That's something to keep in mind. He is on the way. Uzui, Tengen shows up to the house Zenitsu was at, and he goes over to the owner of the house, or the manager of the house, whatever he is, and puts a knife immediately to his throat and goes, who did it? You need to speak right now and tell me what's going to happen, or else. And he's like, he disappeared, and so did the other one, and one of them fell ill or something like that. And he's all like, okay, just tell me who it is you want vengeance on. And then I think he specifically, like, says Daki's normal name, which I think is like, what was it again? Ashkinoke, or whatever it is, the human name she's going by, and he just vanishes. And so I'm guessing that lady that Daki killed in the last episode thing we saw in the flashback was either his, like, I'm assuming his wife or sister, possibly. I think it was his wife. But that makes way more sense why he's as upset and irrational as he currently is. That would be rough, like, in general. I'm surprised. I guess you don't really know it's her to some degree. You just know people are disappearing around her. But, like, I'm just surprised his reaction wasn't more violent. But I think he's probably seen how much of a demon she actually is as she punched a kid through, like, 2 walls. Anyways, so he just teleports away, and that was, like, super smooth. And he's running on the rooftop. I'm like, dang, this dude's like a ninja. Anyways, so we see that Tanjiro finds her, Daki, and Koinatsu. And she's, like, merging her body into her scarf cloth things, because she's like, I don't eat ugly people, but I'm guessing Koinatsu passes this time, so she doesn't really, like, eat them. She, like, merges them into her cloth, which I'm guessing is still the same thing. Then Tanjiro realizes she's an upper 6 member, and then she, after he says, like, let her go, she, like, punches him straight out the thing with her claws. And he is in shock. Like, he won't move for a second. He's like, he feels like his body is numb, like, can't move. And then Tanjiro realizes like he's just in that much shock, that he's just currently afraid of what's happening, but it doesn't matter. He needs to go and try and obviously save these people, who are possibly still alive, and kill this demon. So his strap is broken. He puts Nezuko down. He's like, Nezuko, only get out of this box if it's for your own life. Don't do it otherwise. And he gets himself ready. Daki is enjoying this moment way too much because being sadistic. And then they go to striking, and at first he cannot cut through the cloth. She is just attacking him, and he's parrying them off. They're like in the air, and he's like dodging, hitting attacks. And then he does get a cut, and it happens to be Koinatsu's little cut there, and she's like melded into the cloth, like her face is just on the cloth. But right now he's not sure he can make it out of this, especially because it's a very higher level demon. It's an upper six member, and I'm hoping. I guess writer wise, I'm hoping he doesn't just try to like. I hope he doesn't just almost body her, because that would kind of de-escalate the amount of danger the upper six feel like they are. That's just me saying this now for writing wise. I'm hoping Uzui has to get, or Tengen has to get involved in this, which he should be on the way, and so should Inosuke. Um, but I love the line he uses. He's like, I don't know if I can do this. And he's like, no, it's not if. You have to do this. And so we get a lot of Tanjiro in this episode, or at least towards the very end of this episode. Even though he's terrified of what's happening, having to like strengthen himself, wake himself up. Like, this is not what we're here for. You need to win this or we're going to die. So I'm excited to see what tomorrow's episode is going to be like. I'm probably going to upload this one tonight, and then we'll have the next episode tomorrow. And I'll catch you all later. Hopefully you enjoy. Be sure to watch my playlist on Demon Slayer. And tell me what you thought of this episode. I'll catch you all later. Peace.